Want to welcome everyone. Okay.
Playing back to us, huh?
It is. I just had to pause that real quick. Okay, so I am Cherie Styles. I'm the CEO and founder of Where Your Confidence, and this is the Confidence Corner. I am your confidence coach, and I am so excited because I have here with me today the Miss Karen Ward, who is a personality trainer. And I'm gonna let her introduce herself really quickly. She is a boss. When I tell you she knows personalities and she knows people, and she's gonna help you to better communicate and understand and raise confident daughters, this is the woman for the job.
Uh-oh.
So, no pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Thanks,
Feel
no
free
pressure.
to introduce yourself to the people.
So I am, as you said, Karen Ward. I'm an advanced certified personality trainer and speaker, and also a personality coach. My goal is to help people understand each other and to help unify and reconcile relationships, one personality at a time. That is my goal. My background is I had a mentoring program for teen and young adult women for 10 years, and they range from age 13 to age 30. So I had 3 groups within there in that organization, and what we tried to do was help build confidence, help build self-awareness, help build their self-esteem. And so that's what we did on a monthly basis and a weekly basis with young girls and young women. So that's what I did for many, many years.
Nice. Awesome. I'm just so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. So let's just hop into it. So as a personality trainer, what is it that you do? What is it that you're looking for when you talk about personalities? That's a new term that many of us are probably not familiar with.
Yeah, I get that all the time when people say, what does it mean to be a personality trainer and speaker? So what I do is I try to help people understand that there are 4 personality styles. And with those 4 personality styles, 2 of them are extroverted and 2 of them are introverted personality styles. The extrovert means you get your energy from people, and that's who I am. I'm an extrovert. And an introvert means you get your energy from within. So when I'm around people, I get excited and I can't wait to be around people, and they just energize me and I'm excited. And matter of fact, we were just talking a few minutes before this aired that I was asking you how you were doing because of the, the lockdown or the shut in or the stay at home order, whatever you want to call it. And I was saying I'm going a little bit crazy because I need to be around people. And so it's harder for me, even though I've adapted since I've been home. But I really like entertaining people. I like going out, hanging out with my friends and family, and my husband was like, we should have, he's an extrovert too. We should have a party for the weekend. We should invite 60 people, have 10 in at a time, social distance the other 50. So anyway, we're introverted personalities. Extroverted. The introverted personality styles are people who are they're probably happy to be home because they're happy to be able to kick back and read a book and have quiet time and not be around people in the office who sap all their energy like me. So that's what the introverts do. So what I try to do is get people to understand that we are not all the same and we shouldn't be expected to act the same. And by helping them build stronger, healthier relationships with one another.
Good stuff. So you said that there are 4 different personality types. Can you talk about them just a little bit? And then also you have daughters.
Yes.
And if you could talk about how raising them and their personality styles, how that has been a challenge.
Yeah, I sure can. Okay, so the 4 personality styles, the 2 extroverted personality styles we call the popular sanguine and the powerful choleric. The popular sanguine is a person who's very popular. Most people know who they are. They were the popular kids in school. They're the fun-loving people. They look like they're having the most fun than anybody else, right? Then you have the powerful choleric. Those are the born leaders, the movers and the shakers. Those are people who will tell you what to do, where to do it, when to do it, and how to do it. Okay. Then you have the two introverted personality styles, and then that's the perfect melancholy and the peaceful phlegmatic. The perfect melancholy personality is serious-minded, deep thinker. It's the person who's focused. Then you have the peaceful phlegmatic. It's cool, calm, collected, just laid back and chill. Everybody loves a peaceful phlegmatic. So those are your four personality styles in a nutshell.
Okay.
And I have two daughters, as you said. I have my oldest daughter is a melancholy choleric, and my youngest daughter is a phlegmatic sanguine. So they have all four of the personality styles within the two of them.
It's a handful.
Right. And so raising my oldest daughter was more of a challenge for me because we were a lot alike in the choleric standpoint. She's a born leader, I'm a born leader, but also the cholerics can be know-it-alls. Like we know everything. Nobody knows anything better than us. We're smarter than everybody. We have to have it our way or the highway kind of personalities. So when you have two of those people, they're like two bulls in a china cabinet, right? So that's the kind of thing. And then one is always going to try, especially if you're the parent, you're going to try to break that willful spirit in the child, because you want to make sure the child knows that you're the one that's in control and they're not in control. So that's some of the challenges that we had, is that I, at a very young age, because she was very focused as a melancholy and very serious minded, I was a silly parent to her because all I wanted her to do is have fun and enjoy life and be a kid. And she was like an old woman at 2 and 3. An old woman telling me what to do. Like, did you forget my doctor's appointment again? Because, sanguines are very forgetful people sometimes. And so she would be the one trying to tell me what to do and how to be a better parent to her. So I had a lot of guilt with that because I felt like I wasn't necessarily the parent that I wanted to be to her, because she kept telling me, like, don't forget, you need to do this. And why aren't you doing this as a parent? As a little kid is telling me this,
Wow.
So I had a lot of guilt as a parent, and I had low self-esteem because a sanguine personality has a high need to be liked. We have a high desire to be liked, so we're always looking for somebody to validate us. And so when you have your child not validating you, and your child is telling you that you're not being the parent that they're expecting of you, that's very challenging.
Right.
Now, my youngest is the peaceful phlegmatic. She likes to keep the peace. All she wants is everybody to be happy and nobody to be upset. And her sanguine part wanted to have fun. So we could connect on that sanguine part. But she was more phlegmatic until she became a teenager. So she just wanted to chill and relax and have a good time. I mean, just, down in her room and be quiet and enjoy her space. That was her desire.
Gotcha. So then with your two different daughters, did you find that your approach and how you interacted and how you taught them was different? Did you feel a little stir crazy trying to discipline one child and trying to interact with another, knowing that their personalities were completely different?
It took me a while to figure out that I could not make my children mirror images of myself. Because that's what you do. You don't really think about your two children are different and they have different personalities when you're raising them, if you don't have that knowledge. And I didn't have the knowledge when I was raising them as young people. And so my whole thing was making them what I thought they should be. So I thought, because my oldest daughter was serious minded and she read, like I would say to her, I thought you were reading another book. And she's like, Mom, I'm reading 4 books. And I said, 4 books? I couldn't even wrap my head around that. I said, you're reading 4 different books? Yes, Mom, I'm reading 4 books. So I thought she was unhappy because she was in her room reading to herself. I thought there was something wrong and that I had to fix her. And it took a while for me to recognize that she was just different from me. She didn't have to be me. She didn't have to behave like me and act like me.
Right. That's really good. That's really good. So then my question then to you, how did confidence and self-esteem play a role? You said earlier that you had low self-esteem. So do you think that the different personalities, like are certain personalities inclined to be more negative or more positive? Can you talk on that?
That's a good question. So the extroverted personalities, the sanguine especially, looks at the glass as half full. So everything is rainbows, everything is, glitter, everything is wonder for a sanguine. So we're always looking at it that way unless we have an experience that tears that down for us. Okay. We're always looking at everything as wonderful. The choleric believes that everything will work out fine as long as they're in charge. Okay, so they have more positive attitudes. The melancholy personality is self-deprecating. So they're the personality that most likely will not feel good about themselves, even though they seem to be the most intelligent of all the 4 personality styles. They're the deep thinkers, they're the compassionate people, but they also beat themselves up the most. So if there's going to be a self-esteem issue, a lot of times it's with that melancholy personality. And then also with the phlegmatic. The phlegmatic is always looking for people to appreciate who they are, because they don't want to speak up, and they don't want to say notice me, but they want you to notice them. So, but every personality based on their experiences can be impacted enough that their confidence could be shaken. Now, for me, I was in a household of 10 children, and I was the youngest girl of all 10, and I had a baby brother. So to be in a house, even though I was a bubbly, outgoing, personable kid, to be in a house with 9 other siblings, and everybody is like, talking and trying to get their claws on our parents. Everybody wants our parents' attention. That's challenging when you are a personality that needs a lot of attention.
Right.
Right. And so that was a struggle for me. And that's one of the reasons why I had such low self-esteem, is because I was looking for something that my parents had to give to 10 children. And I just wasn't getting enough of it. So recognizing that and looking at my own children, I realized that I needed to, and I was trying to give them all the love and all the attention. And some of them didn't want that. They wanted the love. They didn't necessarily want the attention until they wanted the attention.
Gotcha.
They wanted you to, if they wanted you in their space, they would invite you in their space. Otherwise, back off.
Right. And I feel like that's how a lot of our teens are right now. It's hard to gauge how to talk, when to talk. Because I know I deal with a lot of young girls, and even just talking with them, they're just like, I don't know. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. Well, what's the matter? Nothing. I don't know. And everything is just like, get away. But it's not until they want something. They're like, oh, Miss Cherise, oh, I miss you. How are you? I'm like, who is this person?
Yeah.
Who is this person? So what can you...
I was going to say, the interesting thing is that when I was doing my mentoring program for the teen and young adult women, one thing I recognized is that young people just wanted us to pay attention to them. Like they felt ignored by the world. And I think they still feel that way to this day. The young people feel ignored, and they don't feel accepted, and they don't feel appreciated. And so one of the things that we did a lot in our mentoring program was to tell our young people we loved them. And we didn't realize the impact that had until I remember one night we were having these one-on-one calls with one of our mentees. And she was giving us this great information, this great news, like she had gotten accepted in a college or something like that, or some kind of program. And we were so excited for her. We were like, oh my God, it's so amazing, so amazing. Okay, well, we'll talk to you next week. And she was like, wait a minute, I love you. Because we always said, I love you at the end of every call. And at that point, we realized that meant so much to her to hear, I love you. And we would hug them, every single one, when they came through on our monthly meetings. We would hug them, and some would pull away. And then eventually those same people would pull away, would just embrace you and hug you. So it's just amazing. You don't know the impact you're having on a person, because all children really need is love. They need attention, and they need consistency. I need to know that you're going to consistently be there no matter what they do. And so that's what young people, and especially young women, they really need that. They need the love and affection. And if they're not getting it at their home in their homes, then they need it from another woman. So as women, we need to embrace other people's children too, not just our own. But we need to reach out and embrace other people's children. And that, I believe, really helps to build confidence in young girls.
Very good. Yeah, I believe so too. You said love, attention, and consistency. So I would assume, you know, with your daughters, that's something that you try to instill no matter what their personality type was. Just
Absolutely.
making sure that you were that go-to person, that they knew that if there was an issue, they can always go, you know, to mom, that you were
Right.
that safe place.
And I had to figure out what that meant to each child, though, based on their personality. So my oldest daughter, who was, you know, the born leader one, who was serious minded, she felt like she could really figure out things on her own. So I had to be a sounding board. And then I had to realize I didn't have to insert my opinion or ideas or thoughts on whatever it is she wanted to talk about. I just needed her to, if she needed to talk, I just let her talk. And as long as I could let her talk, then she sometimes would figure out her own situation without me having to say a word. Or she would ask me, Mom, what do you think of that? When she asked me, I would then give her my opinion because I realized she didn't want it otherwise.
That's really
And my youngest daughter, she's the a severe introvert and an extrovert. So that's really funny because when she's an introvert, she doesn't want to talk to you. She doesn't want anybody talking to her. She just likes to be quiet in her quiet space. But when she's an extrovert, she talk your head right off your shoulders. So you had to figure out what she needed. And so when I realized that she was not in the mood to talk, I just didn't talk to her. I said, you're not in the mood? Nope. Okay. So I didn't have any conversation. And when she wanted to talk, I'm available for her to, talk to me and be able to share whatever is on her heart.
That's really good. I like that because a lot of times what I hear from the young girls that I mentor, they're like, my mom, she just doesn't listen. And I like that you said that you were just a sounding board. You understood her personality, that you didn't have to always interject, but that when she asked, you were there to give the advice, and then she ran with it. And then the other one, you had to ask questions. And I think as parents, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes when a child says, no, I don't want to talk, it's okay to just give them a minute.
The space.
I come across it a lot. We're like, I just don't want to talk. And then the parents would just badger them. And then they explode, and then they get in trouble for exploding.
Right.
And so it's kind of hard to navigate, to figure out, okay, when's the right time to talk? What's going on with my child? Or is it just her personality? She'll be all right. Let me come back in 5 minutes.
And that's why I think it's important for people to try to gauge and understand a child's personality, because that will help you to navigate in conversations or no conversation. It will help you to do that because with any of the young people that I come in contact with, once you identify their personality styles, it helps you to really have a beneficial conversation. And so, like my youngest, I always joke that if she got married and had children, I probably wouldn't know until she was walking down the aisle the day before. Because she's not one to share. And I always had to be the one to say, hey, do you really like this guy? What's going on with you and this guy? Because she wouldn't just tell me.
That's me.
And as a parent, for us, we just really want to know that our kids are going to be okay. And sometimes we don't recognize that when they're not ready to talk about something, it's okay. They're not going to go and commit suicide or anything like that. They just need their space. And then if you ask them something and they were like, I don't want to talk about that, and say, well, let me know when you do want to talk about it, because I'm here for you. I'm here to listen to whatever it is. I want to make sure you're okay and that, I'm not missing anything. And as long as they know that you're there and that you are willing to listen to them, and then when they talk to you, do just that. Listen.
Keyword listen. Mm-hmm. And I would add to that, listen, but don't listen and in a way where you're ready to respond. Like actively listen, take in what it is that they're saying, And then when they ask for, you know, advice or feedback or something, you're ready to give that because you are actually listening.
Exactly.
Right.
And with a personality like mine, see, I have the tendency to be able to finish a person's sentence because I'm a fast thinker. So while people are talking, I'm listening and I am formulating my conversation and I'm hearing you, but I'm having this whole thought in my head that I'm not including you in. So when I
Mhm.
start talking to you, then all of a sudden I have just overwhelmed you with all the information that comes to my head. You don't always want to hear. You just don't always want to hear. It's so funny because I was having a conversation with my daughter last night, and we were talking past each other, and I knew we were talking past each other, and I just finally shut up, and I was like, well, wait a minute, because she can't hear me and I can't hear her
Mm.
because we're both talking past each other, and we're probably saying the exact same thing, but we just need to be quiet and allow it to permeate, and then we came back to the conversation today, and we had a perfectly great conversation because we were able to step outside of ourselves and say, okay, let that, simmer on a pot somewhere until we can come back to it. And we came back to it. We addressed all the issues and concerns that we both had, and it was fine, but sometimes it takes that. You can't always address an issue because you want to address the issue.
Mm.
You have to do things based on what your child needs and not necessarily what you need.
Wow. So that's really good. So two things. I heard you say that a parent has to identify their their daughter's personality trait. How can they do so?
So one of the ways you can do that, well, first of all, most people probably already know if they have an introvert versus an extroverted child. Most people probably know that.
Mhm.
Okay. I have personality assessments on my website that they can purchase if they want to do that. But understanding if you have an introverted and extroverted child is a lot information to help you to navigate with your child. So if you have an introverted child, one who keeps to themselves, very quiet, stays to themselves, communicates only when they feel like it. They may communicate with their friends all day, but they're not going to talk to you or their other siblings a lot. That's a key that you have an introverted personality style. And you know that from a child because we're born with our personalities. A child who's talking your head off or is telling you what to do is your extroverted child. You already know that that's who you're dealing with. And so that child both children need to be heard, but differently. So one child's going to come at you and tell you everything, like tell you everything, tell you stuff you don't even want to know. That's how you know you have an extroverted child. So that child, when you are communicating with them, is sharing information with you. Be quiet and take it in. Allow the child to be able to communicate their thoughts and their feelings because sometimes they're off the wall. Some of these thoughts are off the wall for you, okay? But they need to be said by the child, and then you need to take it in and recognize what it is your kid needs from that. Like you can even ask your child, well, what do you need from me? What do you need me to say? Do you need me to comment on that? Do you need me to be quiet and let you just get it out? You trying to get something out? You just want me to be a sounding board? What do you need from me? And that helps the child know, tell you what they need, and then you can give the child what they need. The introverted children are not going to be the ones that's going to run and tell you everything. They like to journal stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, they'll put stuff in their journals, like their whole lives will be in a journal. Stuff
Right.
that you had no idea about, and their journals should be private. The only time that you should be concerned about your children is if there's something seriously going on and you know it's going on. Okay? Because your child's an introvert does not mean that they have something seriously going on. They just may be quiet and to themselves. But if there's a change in their personality, a drastic change, you have a bubbly kid and all of a sudden the child's an introvert.
Right.
Yeah, that's something you need to find out what's going on with a child. If a child is crying a lot or, is keeping to themselves and angry, then you need to check on them and find out if something else going on. It's not about personality, but it's about something else. But your personality is and it gives you an opportunity for you to kind of see where your kids are and where they're going.
Nice. That's so good. So, so good. So, you said that we'd be able to get more information from you on your website. I do want you to let us know where we can go, or where parents can go to get that information.
Okay. So my website is Beyond, BEYOND 2 TWO LLC.com. So that's Beyond2LLC.com.
Okay. I just
And I
went
can
ahead.
be reached on all social media that way. On Instagram, I'm Karen Ward 5707. But on Twitter, I am Beyond2 LLC. On Facebook, I'm Beyond2 LLC.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This was so, so good. And I just hope that all the moms who are watching either live or on the replay, that you would make sure you check out her website. She is a plethora of information, and she can definitely help you and guide you in raising a confident teens, knowing their personality types so that you know how to address them. Just one last thing before we head out. Is there any advice that you would give moms concerning, personalities and confidence? And, with me, I always say, in order for you to be confident in who you are, you have to know who you are.
That's right.
And so our young girls, our parents, moms, they need to know who they are, not only who they are themselves, but who their daughters are, so that they are better able to help and assist them.
Well, you just nailed that one. So that's it. It's understanding, that's it. Understanding who you are first, because you can't help anybody until you can help yourself. Remember the whole airplane scenario. If the plane's going down, you put the oxygen on you first and then on your child. So you have to understand who you are, who God created you to be. And then you need to understand your child and how you can better interact with that, with not only your children, but everybody around you. Anybody that comes into your sphere of influence, you will be able to understand better once you understand their personality traits. And I would also say, let people be who God created them to be. Stop making them mirror images of yourself. Allow them to be all that God created them to be, because God created them unique within their own personality style. And just like he created each of us uniquely. So let people be who God created them to be would be my greatest advice.
I love it. Let your daughter be who God created them to be.
Yes.
Don't try to make them your mini me. It's cute and all when they're one and when they're babies, but as they get older, they change.
Yeah.
It is okay. Let them be who God created them to be. That's perfect advice. I love it. I love it. Thank you so, so much.
You're so welcome. I love you so much.
I love you too.
And I love the work that you're doing with young women. I love this new podcast that you're doing. I think it's going to bless moms and daughters and women all over the world. I really believe that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
On your podcast. And I just pray that it just blows up and everybody all over this world will see you hosting this amazing podcast.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And thank you everyone for tuning in. If you're watching live or the replay, make sure you share this, share it with your friends and family so that they can get this wonderful information. Thank you again, Karen. And we will be back next week, Monday, with Miss Tyra. And you do not want to miss her. She's going to be great too. So thank you so much. Have a good evening. Thank you, Karen. Don't forget your confidence, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.